All right, everybody, welcome back to the Well Regulated Podcast. This is episode number 10. It's been a couple of solo episodes, but we do what we got to do. We had some interesting stories, so if you didn't see them already, make sure you go back and check them out. With me this time, I got my old guest, GE Outdoors. How's it going, man?
Going great. How about yourself?
Pretty good, man. Anything new? Anything new?
Yeah, same old same. Oh, I got to get me a hunting rifle. Well, you were there
Yep.
yesterday, but after that, I mean, that's new to me. About the biggest news. Same old other than that, just work and that's it. About it.
Nice. Yeah, I
Yep.
definitely what you call it? I played consultant.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was pretty fun. Yeah, so let's see what we got here. All right. Got both of us here. Sorry, we're just going through some technical difficulties here, it looks like. We got you
I
really
appreciate.
big.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you being there. You know what I mean? It's always nice to have a little, somebody to bounce your ideas off when you're making a purchase like that, because I don't see myself ever getting rid of anything I buy when it comes to my firearms.
Yeah, for sure. And thanks for showing me that gun shop. That was a pretty cool spot.
Right?
Bulldog, shout out to Bulldog's
Heck yeah.
guns,
Bulldog Firearms. Bulldog
Bulldog
Firearms
firearms.
in Rio Rancho, man. It's a great place to shop.
Yeah, that was
Really
a
good, really good people.
really cool spot. They also have a lot of used options. Even like used magazines, which was pretty funny to me.
I'd never looked in that section. I can't. They got a lot of stuff in that little store.
Yeah, they definitely do. They got room for sure. Um,
That's where my brother bought his first that first Smith and Wesson, the 9 that he got.
oh really?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that Smith and Wesson is that he got. It was the SD9. I remember it.
I do
Cuz
remember that
cuz
number.
that's like the what you call it. It's like the their version of like the Glock. I remember when that came out a
Oh,
while.
really?
Yeah. So it's like it breaks down like the Glock and everything, and I even think Glock even like filed a lawsuit with them. But I don't really remember. But
Hmm.
yeah, I think they might have.
Did
Um
you hear about the new lawsuit on Glock?
no, is it the one where they're being sued because the claim is that they're too concealable?
Hey, you heard about it. Oh man. Anyway.
Yeah, I didn't look into it. That's all I read, but
That's all I read
that
too.
was
Yeah,
pretty
I thought
funny.
it was
All right. Yeah, so I'm excited for your hunting rifle. You got drawn for a couple of
deer.
things.
Yeah,
What was it
deer
again?
and deer and javelina. Yes.
And when are those seasons?
Deer is November. Javelina is February.
All right, so you got some time.
Yes, sir. Get ready.
All right, I'm ready. All right. I don't know where we should start. Let's start with some local stuff. Let me pull up one of these stories I have. Uh Here we go. And we had some crazy stuff going on. I uncovered some crazy stuff last week. So here we go.
Yeah.
This one is just from a couple of days ago.
Yep.
Let's see. Pushed like a button way too many times on my new button pusher. All right, here we go. Can you see this all right?
Yes, sir.
I'll read it. All right. This is from KRQE News. Police train National Guard members ahead of deployment. The National Guard will hit Albuquerque streets to help police fight crime next month. Ahead of that deployment, the APD says those guardsmen and women are getting special training. APD is training around 60 guard members with both classroom and on the street training, some of which you may have seen in public already. To accomplish one goal is making Albuquerque safe, said Michael Hernandez with the chief. The training work has already begun with this week with the National Guard members who are preparing to help Albuquerque police fight crime on Central. On Monday, APD says guardsmen and women began learning how to serve in the role of helping out officers in the field. Quote, again, the civilian component that we currently are utilizing, that's going to be the same roles that the National Guardsmen are going to be plugged into. And that just frees up officers so we can be more efficient. We have more time to really focus on police work. APD says guard members are starting with 160 hours of training before they hit the streets of Albuquerque in mid-May. Most of those hours will be in the classroom, but some in-field training will also take place, including learning how to direct traffic. We want them to be aware, and then also there's going to be procedural stuff. That is, they're going to be, in particular, having to know of our standard operating procedures that they're aware of, so that they're also in compliance with, our policies, and of course they'll establish their own policies as well. Said as damn, what a fucking quote, Hernandez. Get it APD says the guard's main role will be to observe and report. Paul Blart's over here, man. With 36 guard members assisting on crime scene security during critical incidents and investigations. Another 12 guardsmen and women will help with real-time crime centers. The final 12 service members will help with prisoner transport. As long as they're assigned to Albuquerque again, we'll utilize them in the capacity so we have as many police officers, as we can have answering those calls for service and doing proactive work in our community. APD says they should also have the guards trained by mid-May. And then the public sees them, they will be wearing polos and khakis.
Come on.
12 guards are also working on their drone license so they can help police officers more quickly use drones and beam back live video to the police department's real-time crimes. So what do you think about all that, bro?
I did read this story actually. I think it just came out yesterday.
Yeah, it's a pretty new one.
But I personally, when I was looking at it, I was watching that video and I saw them when they were talking them all in their regular plain clothes, and then I saw another video of them doing their normal training in their normal fatigues. And man, did they just look like a force to be reckoned with in those normal fatigues. I don't know what what the deal is with the plainclothes thing. What do you think about that?
I think they're sending a bunch of mixed messages. They come out and they say that they are asking for the National Guard to come out and help with crime, and like youth crime apparently is like on the rise, and that was one of the reasons that they put out. So having a bunch of people act as having a bunch of overqualified National Guardsmen, and by overqualified, I mean in what they're capable of with their force.
Yes, thank you. Yes, I agree 100%.
To direct traffic and feed homeless people on Central, and to guard crime scene. If you're going to utilize the National Guard as a crime fighting force in Albuquerque on the Central Corridor, maybe they should, maybe use them as a police force like they said they wanted to do.
All right. So I guess basically we just aren't able to hire enough here.
Not
able.
Yeah, I don't know, man. They can't hire enough, so
how does Rio Rancho keep their crime the way they do compared to Albuquerque? I know last time you were touching on the subject that they were Republican And I've known that because the mayor was thinking of running for governor, but I never heard anything more than that except for a rumor and something he said in passing. But yeah,
Well,
I'm
if
wondering what.
somebody commits a crime, they are arrested. And then also, they have police presence here. I don't believe there is a police shortage in Rio Rancho, although correct me if I'm wrong, anybody in the comments. And they do proactive policing. And it seems like the Rio Rancho cops, um they want to work it for the Rio Rancho PD. Like they're incentivized to want to work there and be good police. They're all about accountability.
I don't mean to beat on the Republican fact too much, but how long has Rio Rancho? Do you know how long they've been Republican?
No, I just moved here, but
Right. I wonder. Because
yeah.
the reason I ask is because it leads me to think like, okay, so we're talking about kids crime, right? Kids in crime, and we're seeing the majority of it in Albuquerque. Like, what is stemming this? Why are they like? I know the big picture in America. They're saying there's no father figures, this and that, but why aren't we seeing that in Albuquerque? I mean, in Rio Rancho, as far as I can think back, I'm not hearing a lot of news stories out of Rio Rancho about kids shooting each other the way it is in Albuquerque.
Yeah, it's a smaller area. I mean, here people aren't, maybe this is just speculation, but we're not in Albuquerque, the legal gun owner is the criminal. In Rio Rancho, the legal gun owner is just a legal gun owner. You know what I mean?
If that were the case, that would make a lot of sense. That's true.
So there's a lot of incentive to commit less crime if anybody at any time could be
But
carrying. You know what
and
I mean?
I see. Yeah, and the other point that you made though about it being a smaller town, like that makes a lot of sense too to me. But at the same time, the fact that they're connected so much on so many parts, are so well connected. It seems like that. Okay, and here's another thing: Los Lunas crime is bad. It's bad there too, and that's even a smaller town than Rio Rancho.
Right. Yeah. Uh, but they also have do they have their own Los Ranchos police, or is it APD?
Not Rio, Los Lunas.
Oh, Los Lunas. Yeah, they have their own police, right?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, they do. It's Los Lunas police. So I don't know. Little meth town, not enough cops, not enough big budget, not enough budget to hire enough cops too. A lot of
Yeah, but
a lot of
it is
places
crazy.
defunded their police.
Yeah, and they're talking about that here, right?
Mm, well, yeah, but they also want to allow DACA recipients and legal residents to become officers.
Right, right.
I don't know.
So, well, I have, there's a gentleman at work who is legal resident. He's a Mexican national, legal resident. He is in the National Guard. They just pulled him the other day to go help here in Albuquerque. They just pulled him from work.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean, the National Guard, the Marines, any of our military forces allow Mexican national or other countries' citizens to serve. So what's the difference there between the police doing it, really? As long as they're legal citizens.
Well, they're
Not
not citizens, they're
they're not
residents,
citizens,
and
right?
that's my
That's
problem
what
with
I'm
it
saying.
is that they're not American citizens, and
But
they're
what
going to be
about the service?
police. Well,
The
that's
service
different.
does it all
That's
the time. The service does. That's what the service does, and you don't even become a legal resident just because you served in the military. I've got another buddy, another Mexican national that served in the Marines. So I said, "Oh, you're a citizen now." No, he said that's not how it works.
so that's fine if somebody from another country wants to come over here and defend our country against foreign hostiles. I'm fine with that. However,
Not not against our own
I do
citizens.
not
Okay.
want non-citizens coming and policing America. citizens. They have no
Okay,
allegiance to the Constitution. I mean, it
I
might
see.
be different in the army. I'm not, or the military, which is fine. And those people are kind of doing something different. They're actually putting their lives on the line for our country, and they're not even citizens. That's a little bit more
Yeah.
honorable than,
So,
well,
that's a
maybe
perfect
not
point.
necessarily honorable. I don't want to take away anybody who actually has good intentions and wants to become a police officer. But if you're not
Right.
a citizen of this country, you cannot police citizens of this country. Can't. It's
How
it
about a
you
PC? How about a PSA? the police service agent?
those
What are they
aren't
called?
those aren't
PSA.
cops, so I don't give a
Right. How
fuck.
about them? Right. That'd
They
be
have no
perfect.
authority.
Here's the thing. Okay, so we need the National Guard to come help us direct traffic, but you want the non-citizens to become police so they don't have to direct traffic. Why don't we have them doing PSAs and they can go direct our traffic and help with the homeless on the street?
Makes sense to me.
What the heck, man? How is a dumb plumber and an AC man figure this out? But
Right? No, I have
got
no
all day
idea.
thinking. We're up at 4 in the morning thinking about this crap, you know.
Right? That's all I do is when I wake up is consume all the bullshit about how this state and country are going downhill. Yeah, but that's crazy. And I did go over that story the other day, and they tried to like totally like play it off like, oh, more people this the so they played a story about the DACA and legal residents becoming officers, and they portrayed a story about this woman who was not a citizen, wanted to become a cop, so they hired her as a police service aide. As she was going through the police service aide stuff,
Hmm.
she got her citizenship, became a
Hmm.
United States citizen,
Perfect.
and then became a
Beautiful.
cop.
I
And
love it.
then they were like, yeah, perfect. American
I love
dream
it.
story right there.
I
Fuck
love
yeah,
it.
I'd have that woman on my show.
And
But the thing is that they tried to do is they were like, if this law had been placed, she could have been a cop sooner. No, fuck that. She needs to become a citizen to
is
become a
that really
cop,
how they're
not
framing
the
it
other
though,
way
or is it?
around. Yeah, I could
I
find
hope
the
not.
story and play it
I
again,
hope.
but I played it
I
last
hope
week.
not. I know, no, but I hope they're gonna go, the logical route here, man, the common sense route.
They're not. The law it's taking place here soon. Like 2 more months, 60 days or so, that law takes place. They probably already got people lined up in academies. Bro, what if you got like a gang of like non-citizens that just start like being a police gang? They already had problems with police gangs in Albuquerque. That's why they're under the consent decree that they don't call the consent decree. I had a story about that. I forgot to save it. But
Really, send that to me.
yeah, I will when I find it. So this Zoom shit, this is the first time I've used it, full disclosure, viewers, but it says remaining time on the meeting, a minute and 22. So this might
Right.
cut us off, and I'll have to send you a new link here in a minute. Probably we'll see. But yeah, what do you think? You think non-citizens should become
No.
cops? You already heard my
Okay.
opinion.
Well, so I was talking myself out of it because, like I said, we're already letting them serve our country, but then the way you put it, non-citizens policing citizens, then I didn't like it. Right there when you said that, it kind of changed my mind right then and there. But coming in, being PSAs, gaining your citizenship, and becoming police, beautiful. I love it. You want to come serve our country? That's a great way. But as a PSA, until you're a citizen, please,
Yeah,
please, Gresham.
right. She's totally
Wrong.
for doing that. Totally wrong.
I hope not. I hope not. I hope they figure it out,
Yeah.
Because it's got it. You think, and so it's already a law, you said? It's
Yeah,
already
she
passed?
signed it into law during this last session.
So it went
Uh,
through the House,
she
all
signed
that
it.
good.
Yep. Everybody
Oh, okay.
voted for it. She signed it. It takes place 90 days from whenever she did it, and that was 85 days from last week. So it's coming up quick.
Yeah, but so I was looking at a story out of Colorado.
Oh, it cut us off. All right. I'm just going to send David a new link here. So hold on. Thanks for hanging out, guys. Yeah, so that story is wild because yeah, that story is just a whole wild story. Um I can't believe it. They actually want non-citizens to police citizens. Anyway, folks, we are just going to pause it right there and we will be right back. All right. Sorry about that, guys. Had some technical difficulties. So if anybody knows how to set up maybe Discord and do this like mobile, what you call it, like remote guest. If anybody knows how to set that up on a Discord, I'm kind of new, so I'll check it out. But here on Discord, I can do all this without having to share and do all that. The same stuff I could do on. Oh, there you are. Cool. What's going on, man?
Yes, sir.
Cool. All right, you're
I
back.
got you. What's up? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you just fine. Perfect. I was just saying to the audience, if anybody knows any tricks on Discord to help me get that set up, to hit me up at deepsouthedc@gmail.com or send me a message on X at deepsouthedc. We can get that going, and yeah, I'd be highly appreciative. Let's see. Let me go to this camera. Oh, there you are. Cut me out a little. Yeah, so sorry about that, bro. So I kind of wanted to ask you a question. What if you're driving down the street, you get pulled over, and like 3 cop cars roll up on you? The cops get out of the car, and none of them speak English. Doesn't matter what language they're speaking, but they're coming at you, shouting in their language, telling you to get out, or who knows what they're telling you. What would you do? You know,
Oh man.
you're in America, you know? Like like
Yeah.
that's just crazy.
Yeah, I don't know what I would do. What would you do?
I have no idea. I'd probably flee and then try to call the real cops. But who knows?
Yeah. You know how that goes. That's a hard fight against cops, you know?
Yeah,
That's a rough
especially
one to
when
win.
there's a whole gang of foreign cops.
Oh man. No, let's hope it's, I know it's a slippery slope, but let's hope it don't get that far, man. Gee.
Right.
I think the federal would step in before it went that far. I would hope.
I mean, they haven't so far, so
Yeah.
you would think like a judge would strike down this law, or something would happen from the feds to strike it down, but they haven't. Like, here it is. Albuquerque mayor and police chief celebrated a new law this weekend, turning dreamers into defenders. That's what they call them. This is an Obama era thing. To gain like sympathy for like children of immigrants or illegal immigrants, like people who were born here but of illegal immigrants, anchor babies, I call them.
Right.
It literally turns dreamers into defenders, and this is something that could not have been done without a state law change. This way, it'll do a couple of things. Number one, by actually incorporating immigrants into our police department better. It says better, so that gives me an implication that they're already integrated. Know what I mean?
Right. Yep.
We can actually have a
So they
department.
probably already.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just going to finish the sentence. We can actually have a department that better represents our community. Staff shortages at law enforcement agencies across New Mexico have long been an issue. With this change, it is estimated that more than 51,000 New Mexicans can apply for law enforcement jobs. Quote, we've gone from when we came in about 836 officers to now 950 in the pipeline. We're on track to get 1,000, but we know we need 1,200 and we need help. And now we can hopefully get some help from folks who want to help protect our community, who are part of our immigrant community. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead. I'm just frustrated.
Yeah. No, it's a frustrating thing to hear. State Senator Sidney Nava, who sponsored the bill at the legislature, said it would not alter the standards to be an officer. I'd say it alters the first standard, is being a citizen. Quote, they'll have to go through the same vetting
well, that's what I was
system.
saying. When you were reading the story,
Yeah.
you said they would allow them to add 50,000 Americans.
No. New Mexicans. So they're a New Mexican is anybody who I guess is in New Mexico, what they're saying.
So how about making it better so people want to move here and be a cop?
You know, question for them.
Anyway, my bad.
They'll have to go through the same vetting system, same standards based on their education, experience, and character, not their immigration status. Come on, dude. APD Chief Harold Medina, who looks like a retarded troll, by the way, says it will not only expand his force, but make his department look more representative to the community they serve. Bro, I don't give a fuck what you look like. I want you to save me from fucking being murdered by some. What is all this fucking representation look like me bullshit? Like, I want the best people who are capable of the job. It's legislation like this that will help.
Just like that fireman.
Oh, from California?
Yeah.
Yeah. She was all, if I have to pull you out of a burning building, then you shouldn't have been there in the first place. Like, what? That's your fucking job, is to pull people out of burning buildings. It's legislation like this that will help ensure we have a diversity at the Albuquerque Police Department that is representative of other cultures, other upbringings, and brings an understanding of where people are. Lawmakers on both sides of the aisle passed the bill this past session. Communist puppet Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham signed it into law last week. So there it is. Yeah, dude, you even have Republicans voting. You need a list of those.
Right.
Now there was an interesting story from that I kind of started talking about. Oh no, let's get into this one because let's stay focused on this. New Mexico judge abruptly resigns after suspected Trinidad gangbanger arrested for firearm possession at his home. Judge Jose Joel Cano reportedly submitted a letter of resignation on March 3rd. He was a former police officer who took the bench in 2011, told a Border Hawk source that he did indeed resign, but did not comment further. Border Hawk contacted the judge's office on April 1st and was told by a clerk that he had, quote, retired. On February 28th, 2025, Homeland Security Investigations El Paso arrested Christian Ortega Lopez at a Las Cruces residence owned by Judge Cano following an anonymous. Ortega Lopez was reportedly caught by U.S. Border Patrol on December 15th at Eagle Pass, Texas, after illegally entering by scaling a fence and was released 3 days later due to crowding. Ortega Lopez is a Venezuelan national, and authorities believe he has ties to Trinidad based on tattoos, apparel, and displaying of hand gestures. Following his release into the U.S., he eventually moved to El Paso, where he roomed with 5 other people. Court documents state that he met Nancy Cano, the judge's wife, during construction and handyman jobs and accepted her offer to stay in a casita behind her home. In April 2024, Ortega Lopez filed a request for immigration relief, listing the Las Cruces address as his residence. Shows a
Hmm.
tweet of him chilling with the judge, fucking drinking cervezas.
Wow.
A review of Ortega Lopez's social media actively appears to show him shooting at the local gun range and holding multiple firearms.
Mm.
An account purportedly belonging to the Venezuelan also features photos and videos that appear to show him socializing with Judge Cano, including point of view footage that apparently show Ortega Lopez passing a long rifle to both Judge Cano and Nancy.
Oh
Shows the
no, are you
video.
serious?
Yeah.
No.
During
No,
his
no, no,
time
no, no,
in
no,
Las
no.
Cruces, Ortega Lopez was introduced to Nancy Cano's daughter, April Cano, who, quote, possessed a large number of firearms, prosecutors say. April Cano reportedly allowed Ortega Lopez to, quote, hold and sometimes shoot various firearms. Ortega Lopez admitted that he possessed and fired multiple firearms confiscated from the home of April Cano. Ortega Lopez has been charged with being an illegal alien in possession of firearms and ammunition being held without bond. And then there's a picture of him getting arrested. An investigation is ongoing. So, dude, imagine like what if this wasn't like Homeland Security and stuff, and what if it was like the local PD, but
Mm-hmm.
they all happen to be immigrants? Like, what would they do? They'd be like,
Okay.
"Oh, what's up, Judge? Good to see you. Let's drink
I'm
some
glad you saw
cervezas."
something funny about this
Like,
because,
what the
but,
fuck, dude? They
but
should arrest the
we're
judge for
yeah, but
harboring.
we're sitting here passing Jared Polis gun laws in California, no semiotic, passing all these gun control laws for our law-abiding gun owners. Yet you have a judge right here passing guns to exactly who's not supposed to have them.
Oh, bro, he set him up with his daughter, who is an avid gun owner, who let him hold them. Yeah, that's crazy.
This story should have way more light, for as far as how they treat these all this gun control nonsense.
Yeah, for sure. But you know how it is.
Well, but that's the thing. We need to crack down on this type of thing instead of trying to crack down on all of us law-abiding citizens.
No, dude, instead they're gonna sue Glock for producing guns that get over the border instead of, going after this sweet baby angel fucking judge who all he was doing was helping a poor immigrant, That's all he was
We're
doing. All he was
our
doing.
our our leaders or whatever in Albuquerque are just as bad as this guy who goes and has drinks with the guy in El Salvador. Just it doesn't make any sense at all.
No, you're totally right. Like they definitely care more about illegal criminal aliens who commit awful crimes here in the country than they do
Yeah,
about their own citizens. It's pretty wild. This story I kind of mentioned to you yesterday when we were at Bulldog Gun Shop. Again, shout out Bulldog Gun Shop.
yes,
Um,
sir.
I was telling you about the U.S. Justice Department filing charges against a man for having a short barrel rifle, but they were
Yeah,
also calling it a pistol.
yeah,
Looks like Pam Bondi, the Attorney General, um, looks like they dropped the charges on that
yeah.
case, which was ridiculous. Had that gone in front of a judge, it definitely would have been, well, who knows? But it can't be two guns at once. You know what I mean? It's either a pistol or it's a short barrel rifle. Charge the guy for like,
Right.
or you can't call it both and charge him for one thing. Besides, short barrel rifles and short barrel shotguns and all that, those laws are all stupid. Like they're meant they were they're the NFA, the National Firearm Act artifact, which was like passed during like prohibition when they were fighting people with Tommy guns and shit. They were worried about people concealing rifles and shotguns in their big trench coats. I don't know if anybody has ever fired a short barrel shotgun. That shit hurts. Like
Oh
nobody's
yeah.
gonna just want to go do that, That's stupid.
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty dumb.
Looks like we got the police union actually reacting to the to this National Guard stuff. So I just want to go over this real quick. Uh, Last week, the governor declared a state of emergency. Police union leaders worry those guardsmen and women aren't prepared for what they may face and have questions about the resources they'll have on our streets. I said this
Hmm.
exact same thing.
Yeah, put them in fatigues, put them in their gear.
They're not even going to give them a sidearm. And then they're going to go make them work
Oh,
security on central buses. Quote, I hope
yeah.
they equip you with necessary tools to get access to resources you need when bad things happen because it's Albuquerque and things happen fast and we do have a lot of crime, the president said. That was his message to the National Guard, and the first time we heard from rank and file representatives about Operation Zia Shield. He said officers don't have a problem with troops coming in, but calls the
Right.
operation highly political.
Well, he said it. We didn't.
Right?
He said,
Albuquerque, yeah, he said it.
"Who's this again?"
This
Oh,
is
my
the
bad.
president of the police union.
I like him.
Yeah. Albuquerque has real crime problems and we need real crime solutions. They're going into a solution I think they're ill equipped for, and I think this is a disservice to them. I said the same thing. We're putting
Thank
you
you.
guys in the lion's den in fucking polos and khakis, and they're taking
I'm
away
telling
your
you,
guns.
they're talking about a block away from where I am right now. I see this every day. There's oh, weekly there's a killing right here on Central, close to my house.
Yep.
Weekly,
Yep.
no exaggeration.
No, I believe it.
Stabbings, killings, you name it. People getting ran over by cars because they're laid out in the street, passed out.
Yep.
It's weekly.
No, I definitely I believe
Man,
it,
I'm
man.
glad. I'm glad this union police. He's the union president. You said?
Yeah, so he's definitely a former cop.
Yeah. Huh.
The governor is developing dozens of troops to do support work for APD starting mid May. We already know this. City leaders originally pointed to 8 areas needing immediate help. They include scene security, traffic control, medical assistance, and help for homeless people. Transporting prisoners. Okay, that I get. I hope they actually like give those guys the proper
Yeah,
security
because
on.
they've had a couple.
No, go ahead.
They've had a couple run-ins where the prisoners have taken over the vans. Not and
Like Con Air.
recently. Yeah, I gotta send you some links, man. In the past couple of years, they've had a couple of the prisoners take over those vans.
Dude, that is wild.
So I think the National Guard would be better equipped than our. I hate to say than our,
Than the
what are those
sheriff's office or
sheriff's
whatever.
office? There you go.
Yeah, if they give them the right tools.
Right.
Let's see. Medical assistance for homeless, transporting prisoners, security on city buses, in metro courtrooms, and at the Sunport. Come on. You can't be taking away these guys' tools at those places. Paperwork for the district attorney's office. Really? You're going to have them doing fucking paperwork?
Wow.
And then operating in drone deployment. Okay, that kind of makes sense.
I like that one.
Yeah.
I do like that one.
But since the announcement, city leaders appear to have walked back some of the responsibilities the troops will have. APD Chief
What?
Troll Harold Medina cut the responsibilities to 3 areas, including expanding APD's drone program, helping with evidence collection at the prisoner transport center, and assisting with scene security. So they're only going to do 3 things.
Yeah, but with the drones, what do you think of that?
I mean, it depends because they in New Orleans they implemented this before I left,
Mm-hmm.
and they were totally transparent. They were like, as soon as we launch the drones, we're going to put out a message to the public letting them know that we launched the drone, where it's going to be. They were all about privacy,
Mm-hmm.
and we're
Yeah.
using it only to like chase in like chases or to find like, fugitives or runaway
Okay.
suspects and things like that. So that I will shout out the NOPD for. Very few
Mhm.
shout outs, but yeah, they were very transparent, and yeah, on Twitter or whatever they were putting out, sending up the drone.
Hmm. I
As
hope
long
there's
as
the
they
same
do it,
here.
as long as they do it right and aren't just spying on the citizens of Albuquerque, like I don't have a problem.
Exactly.
Let's see. He walked it back. They're only doing three things. If you really want to make an impact in crime, get me 50 state police officers that are excited to be in Albuquerque and do proactive policing, and let's see what happens, said Will believe he's the president. It's exactly right. That's what they did in New Orleans. They got state police help. It's called Troop NOLA, and they fucking go through there and they bust things down.
I have respect for the staters, man. I really do.
Mm,
To
I
a
mean,
point.
it's
I know we had that
situational.
one guy that got, well, yeah, but we've watched some videos where those staters have went to work, man. There's some tough staters out there. I gotta say.
I mean, but definitely, this is what I thought at the same time too. I think that they needed to get some state troopers in there. And then
Mhm.
there was a story about the state trooper who was also a National Guardsman who was arrested for stealing National Guard equipment.
Yeah, that's true.
But then I also made this point, like
Just one guy though.
you have cops who are in the guard who are being activated and taken away from their cop jobs to become
No way.
National Guard members to
No.
help out in Albuquerque as
No.
fake police.
Is
I
that what they
mean,
said?
it's a possibility.
Yeah, no, I doubt it. They took our electrician away though, like I said,
Yeah.
to
Now
go.
you guys are out an electrician.
We are. I mean, hey, and it's a hospital. We got to get this done.
Let's see. He says he also has concerns about the troopers' safety. The National Guard members won't be armed or in uniform. Instead, they'll wear marked civilian clothing. Quote, are these guys going to be equipped with a radio? Are they going to be in contact with APD officers if they get into something or they get into a situation they can't deal with in a polo shirt? Where are these services coming from to help them? These are real big questions that need to be answered. We've reached out to the spokesman for the National Guard about those resources, including radios. They didn't hear back, but we do know that National Guard members are currently in training for the unique deployment. We've questioned APD leadership about staffing. The spokesperson told us there are 477 sworn officers in the field among all area command, but the Wilbly claims that their information shows there are fewer than 300 officers, which
Hmm.
is nuts. That is like
Yeah, no kidding.
that's like nobody.
Wow.
And I thought New Orleans had a problem, but I guess not. Damn, that's crazy. But no, this guy he's exactly right. Are we going to be expecting them to handle all that just wearing polos, you know?
Yeah, I'm glad somebody else is saying it because, man, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Right. All right. We'll do one more before we go. This one is kind of it's kind of nice but kind of sucks at the same time. This is from Bearing Arms. A Florida woman evicted from apartment after shooting would-be intruder. It's been a little more than a week since 28-year-old Juan Diego was shot and killed as he allegedly tried to enter a dwelling in the Carrollton Apartments in Fort Myers, Florida. And though the police continue to investigate the shooting as a case of self-defense, the company that owns the apartment complex is moving to evict the tenant who fired at Diego along with her roommates.
Hmm.
Fox 4 in Southwest Florida spoke to the father of one of the tenants who's understandably livid that his child is getting kicked out of her home because her roommate acted to protect herself and her friends. It just adds insult to injury. It's completely outrageous, and I just don't know what kind of person or organization makes that kind of decision, said Stuart Lurie. Lurie said his daughter lives at the Carrollton of Fort Myers in a room where a man with a gun tried to get in before being shot and killed by one of her roommates. Being there
Hmm.
present where there was a home invasion and getting pretty shaken up. Fort Myers said police Fort Myers police said 28-year-old Juan Diego lived in the apartment complex with a number similar to the one he was trying to get into on April 10th. They said it was a potential self-defense case and had charges. Even if he had no ill intent when he tried to enter the apartment, the women inside had no idea what his intentions were. As far as they're concerned, a stranger who turned out to be armed himself was trying to break into their home. Under Florida's castle doctrine, there's a strong case to be made that the armed citizen acted in lawful self defense of herself and her roommates, and the fact that police haven't filed any charges more than a week after the incident at least suggests that law enforcement is leading that way. Management of the complex, however, isn't waiting for police to officially determine whether any charges will be filed. As far as they're concerned, they're already guilty of violating the terms of their lease. Lori sent Fox 4 a copy of the 7-day notice. You, your occupants, or guests of any occupants may not engage in any of the following activities: engaging in or threatening violence, possessing a weapon prohibited by state law, discharging a firearm in the apartment community, displaying or possessing a gun, knife, or other weapon in the common area in a way that may alarm others, engaging in criminal activity that threatens the health, safety, or right to peaceful enjoyment of others in or near the apartment complex, regardless of arrest or conviction. Any violation of this paragraph shall be material breach of this leasee, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so if you discharge a gun, even in self-defense, you're violating your terms of the lease. Leave or I'll shoot you. What would be considered threatening violence by the apartment complex manager? Okay, so I'd love to see tenants file to fight the eviction notice, but Laurie says his daughter and friends plan on. Yeah, that kind of sucks. So you could either be raped or be homeless. Live, I mean, choose. So fuck that apartment complex. I'm glad this girl and all of her roommates are safe. And who
Right.
knows what that guy's intentions were? It had a number similar to his. Like,
Hmm.
what the fuck does that even mean? The guy can't read
Right.
fucking numbers? Yeah, there are numbers similar to other numbers. And guess what? You just read them and then you know that it's not the same number. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
But
he's either intoxicated, which isn't good because he's going to walk in and not know where he is and shoot them, or he's up to ill intent, like you said.
yeah, do you remember that story about that police officer in Texas who got all drunk, went home to her apartment, but she
Yeah.
went to the wrong floor, went into the apartment and blasted on the dude because she thought
Hmm.
he was in her house? Yeah, that was pretty crazy. But I don't think that's like the same type of situation here. Um, but regardless, it sucks if that guy didn't do anything that he had to, what happened to him happened, but you know, the last place I lived in New Orleans, all the lease said the same thing.
Really?
Yeah. And I was like, well, sorry. This is fucking
Yeah.
New Orleans and you're gonna have that clause in your lease, bro.
Yeah.
Like there are
Well,
home invasions like every day in New Orleans. Like every day there's a story about a
yeah.
break-in, a
If there
burglary,
were,
a home invasion, a kidnapping.
yeah, it should say unless determined self-defense in a court of law, something to that effect would be fair.
Yeah, maybe. But it's also
Yeah, because you can't
America.
be just, you can't just be popping off guns and they got to have that rule.
Right, but that's already illegal.
True. You're not wrong.
Right?
Any illegal activity in the apartment, yeah, that pretty much covers it, doesn't it? They seem to go pretty extent on their gun terms there in the lease. I've never even had anything like that in any of my leases, to tell you the truth. Remember, our landlord that one time just said no met.
No, Matt. Yeah. Do you guys party? He kept asking us if we partied. We thought he was gonna like bust out lines on the counter or something. It's like,
Oh,
why do you keep
good
asking us if we party?
one.
Anyway, bro, yeah, this is all crazy. So I think all summed up, like, I don't like where New Mexico is headed. I luckily
Yeah.
don't live in Albuquerque, but I live close enough where Albuquerque spills over.
Yeah, but you
And
live in the good zone right there. And Rio Rancho is the spot. I got to tell you, I never had an issue living there.
right now, we'll see what happens. I need to get more into the local politics here because I really don't know too much, but I need to get more on it because I don't want Rio Rancho
Yeah.
Yeah, guess we'll end it there. I'm gonna work out some more kinks, man. I didn't like this whole Zoom shit. Um, like cameras are kind of laggy and stuff, but we'll
Yeah.
figure it out. It also gave me that time limit. So if anybody watching can kind of know how to help me out on this technical side, again, hit me up. You know, you can email me or hit me up on X. And yeah, make sure you guys follow me everywhere at Deep South EDC. Make sure you follow me on Rumble. And where can we find you, David?
Same old place, GE Outdoors and GE Machines on YouTube. Happy Easter to everybody and God bless.
Nice. Yeah, and I'll link that down below. And yeah, happy Easter, everyone. That fucking Zoom running out of time pop up just popped up.
Perfect.
Anyway, bro, it was cool seeing you again. And
Yeah, heck
yeah, we
yeah.
got to get together. We'll go hit up that gun range again here soon. Um, but anyway, y'all know how it is. It's a crazy one out there. And just stay well regulated. We'll catch you on the next one. Watch out for those non citizen police. Peace.
Hmm.